You know, the main stage at San Francisco Pride has seen a lot of amazing acts and given birth to a lot of incredible careers. People like Lady Gaga, Sylvester, well, they were on the Pride stage before they were on the world stage, and I wouldn't be surprised if our next guest is going to follow in their footsteps. Welcome, Gypsy Love.
Thanks, David.
Now, you know, I'd be lying if I said that I didn't think that was a stage name. So I imagine that you weren't. Were you a love child?
I do believe I was a love child.
Yeah. And so don't tell us your real name, but Gypsy Love is your stage name, correct?
It is, yeah.
Now, where did that come from? Was it because you saw the movie Gypsy, or you are a gypsy?
You know, I was actually named Gypsy by some friends. A lot of times when I would perform locally, and a lot of my friends would say, gosh, you remind us of a gypsy. And I thought, you know, I'm okay with the name Gypsy, but it didn't seem quite enough.
Right.
I consider myself a gypsy of love. You know, gypsies tend to roam and are nomads following where the resources are, and I follow where the love is.
Yeah, well, and it sounds like there's a lot of love in your family. I mean, quite a background. You're part Mexican, part Libyan, part Native American, and you married a Lebanese guy.
Yep, and I grew up Italian. I was
and
adopted.
Yes, it was a very quiet, staid household, right?
Right, no passion at all.
Yeah. So what's a nice non-gay girl like you doing performing on the stage at Pride?
I consider myself a passionate ally. You know, the LGBT community has always been a home to me. It's where I feel most comfortable. I really found my dance in the gay clubs and found my voice as well. So it's quite a privilege and an honor to convey my message of love on stage.
So now you grew up here in San Francisco.
I did, yeah.
When you were growing up a young girl, and I mean, what part of town?
Well, I was born here in the city. I was born right at St. Mary's Hospital, and then I actually most of my childhood was spent in the East Bay. My folks still live in Fremont, and I moved back here in 2000 and live over by the Cliff House in Ocean Beach.
Right. So, you know, was the gay community part of your childhood growing up? Did you meet,
Absolutely.
you know, gay people when you were young?
Absolutely. In fact, my best friend and his whole process of coming out, I think, really kind of awakened me to the embrace of San Francisco and the sense of community here and support for all equal rights, but especially from the LGBT perspective.
Now, you've had already quite the career. You've been recording, you've been performing. I know that our mutual friend Harry Denton has you on stage at the Starlight Room. When did you realize that you had a voice that, well, frankly, was worth a recording studio?
You know, at first it was a little bit intimidating for me to step into a recording studio. I have always felt that I shine most when I perform live. And so my first time in the recording studio was probably about 10 years ago. Again, I was sort of ushered in by a dear friend of mine. And then I caught the bug, you know. I'm a writer. I write my songs. And so
So you record your music, not other people's music?
Yes, I record. Well, most of the songs that are released now are written by me. Gypsy of Love is a lovely song that was written by an extraordinary songwriter, Michael Cherky. And he actually was inspired by me and approached me and said, may I write this song for you to express? And I said, well, let me hear it first.
Yeah. Now, Gypsy of Love, that was the song, the title of your, you did a video in 2011, correct?
The Wish was my video in 2011, and then 2012 was Gypsy of Love.
Okay, well, I think we've got some footage from 2011, Wish. Let's take a look at it now.
Look, yeah.
Wow. Great stuff.
Thank you.
You know, I don't know if Beyonce, you know, is, I'd be worried. Because
You're too kind.
there's no hip double going on in that. That's, that's you kind of.
That's all Gypsy Love.
Wow. Well, Gypsy Love's got some hips going on there.
Yes, yes.
So did you come to that naturally? I mean, seriously, you have a Libyan background. I mean, belly dancing tends to be perceived of as an Eastern art form.
Absolutely.
Did you come to this from your family, or did you one day say, God, I got to take lessons?
I think it really that my attraction to global fusion might have been rooted in the fact that I'm sort of a mezcolanza of sorts. You know,
You're a buffet. There's absolutely no doubt about
exactly.
that.
So, and so really it was the Arabic music that sort of drew me to take my first belly dance class, and now I teach belly dance.
That's interesting because I mean the feel of that song. There's some Arab influences in there. I mean, you know, it's very sexy, very sensual.
Thank you.
What has been the response to it?
I'd say that the response has been very positive. I have always perceived belly dance as a powerful vehicle for bringing women together. I think in a society that sadly tends to pit women against each other, it's very inspiring for me.
Well, I was reading that belly dancing, you know, although maybe another perception, maybe the misperception is that it's an art form for men by women.
Yeah.
It was actually something that was invented to be about women.
Absolutely. It's an ancient art that was born from women, for women, by women. And it's just a lovely way to support one another through the gift of movement.
Now, besides your work, obviously your professional work on stage and the work you do with the LGBT community, you have a passion for helping special needs kids. I'd like to talk a little bit about that.
I'm extremely passionate about this. So I participate in a program called SNAP. It stands for Special Needs Arts Program. And we help children with a variety of special needs like autism or Down syndrome, Asperger's, to express themselves with the gift of music and dance.
Now, do you work directly with these young people, or tell me about that?
Yes, I teach them to dance, and really, they teach me so much. I really have to say that music is a healing art in so many ways, but when you actually get to see a child who might walk into the classroom with little more than a blank stare, and by the end of the session is dancing and singing, it's...
Yeah, I mean, how do you get a kid with autism who maybe is afraid to even open his mouth to start, you know, wiggling around?
I think a lot of it has to do with getting on the same playing field. There are certain nuances to any child, really, you know, just like a child without special needs. If they are acting a certain way and you have to kind of match their vibrational frequency to get a reaction, it's the same approach, really.
Yeah.
I think that with any sort of art form, you're basically cultivating a sense of confidence and self-expression, and that's what I bring to the table for these kids.
Right. So what does your husband think about all these very sensual performances at Pride? I mean, you know, you're not singing Song of Bernadette up there. I mean, we're going to be seeing some of that stuff like we just saw in the video, right?
Oh yeah, and more. And it's going to be tremendously entertaining because I'm bringing in my band of gypsies, you know, live musicians, belly dancers, hip hoppers. It's going to be a blast. My husband is my #1 fan.
Well, I bet.
Yeah.
Anything you'd like to say in closing about any secrets you can give us or treats you think that we're going to see on the Pride stage? You want to give us a little hint? Or
Yeah, I'd say that really my mission is to inspire love and global unity through uplifting music and movement. That's what Gypsy Love Productions is about. So choose love. Love yourself, love others, make love.
And well, forget Gypsy Rose Lee. We got Gypsy Love here. Looking forward to seeing you on stage at Pride.
Thank you, David.
Next up, we're going to speak to some of the people behind, well, so far a very successful year for Equality California. We'll be right back.